I'm Kevin Shaw, and you're watching the Watercraft Journal. We here at the Watercraft Journal have gotten a lot of requests for what goes into the proper break-in process for a supercharged seadoo. Thankfully today, we're picking up exactly that, our 2021 RXP-X 300. We're here at America's Motorsports, which is Middle Tennessee's premier seadoo dealer, here with Jeff Searcy, who is the service director for all 3 stores. Jeff, I wanted to ask you, from the time that you guys receive the big shipment from the truck to a customer receiving his ski, what goes into the dealership preparing these kind of machines?
Really, they come, depending on the model, this particular one, there's not technically a whole lot of things that we do with it.
Okay.
Of course, they come on a crate bottom that we have to set up off a crate bottom. We put them on these roll carts until we put them on the trailer, but none of them come with the sponsons installed on them, so we have to install the sponsons and stuff on them. This particular model, everything else was already intact.
So you're not even putting the handlebars on?
Not even the handlebars on this model.
Okay. Now, what's the checklist that you guys go over? I mean, obviously you're looking at the whole material. You're making sure that everything looks good, that nothing was injured in the shipping process. But besides that, what else are you? I mean, obviously, like putting a battery in. Is there anything else that you guys, or anything else that the service department is preparing?
We do. We have to program the keys
to
be able to work with this boat. You can have as many keys, but I think on this particular model it comes with 1 key.
Okay.
We program the key. We also go into what VRP will call a BUD system.
All right.
We go in there and check and make sure all the modules communicate with one another properly. Sometimes there might be a software update that we have to download and stuff in them. Other than that, that's about all that we necessarily have to do. Start the machine, make sure everything sounds good, operates good, and ultimately from there it's about ready for the customer.
Great. So you're not even running water through it. You're pretty much just bumping the engine over, make sure it fires. And
they've already technically run water through it from the factory.
Okay.
And started and lubricated the engine and done all of that. So
great.
No, sir, we don't have to.
Okay. And so basically, when a customer comes in and picks up a brand new seadoo, they can effectively just hit the water, right?
They can. I get a question quite often about what a customer has to do for break-in procedure.
Right.
It's a very good question necessarily for the customer to know, but to be perfectly honest with you, they don't have to do anything.
Well, my understanding is that obviously there is a 5-hour, for the supercharged machines, there's a 5-hour internal time clock, and then they really recommend the 10-hour break-in period, alternating the throttle and just becoming familiar with the machine. This is a lot of watercraft to hand to someone.
It is. But yes, the consumer gets on it and just operates it the way that they want. The ECU inside of here is what's going to monitor that 5 hours. It's going to only limit the output,
right,
and do it on its own. So
great. That's probably as much for the engine as it is for the rider. I mean, I always make the joke that it's a learning curve. That's a lot of machine right there, and handing the lanyard to someone like that is a little bit like handing them a loaded gun if they're not ready for it. Because that's 300 horsepower is nothing to sneer at.
Well, especially on the 300 horsepower, and they had to redesign the seats, so you better hold on with your knees, especially for cornering.
Oh yeah. Well, Jeff, thank you so much. We really appreciate America's Motorsports helping out with getting us this machine. We're gonna hopefully treat it really nice, but we're also gonna beat the heck out of it this year. So we're really excited.
Well, have fun with it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
In getting the most longevity out of your supercharged seadoo, you're going to want to follow the owner's manual as closely as possible, and essential to that is completing the prescribed break-in period. The break-in period is unique to Sea-Doo Watercraft, as supercharged Sea-Doos require a total of 10 hours of engine operation before the watercraft can be considered fully broken in. To ensure that the engine is properly broken in, the factory programs the ECU to dampen throttle response and limit full throttle until halfway through the 10-hour process. This means you can't even really reach the Sea-Doo's full potential until you've racked up a minimum of 5 operating hours. Equally, Options like sport mode and launch control are hampered until the 5 hours are up. Because the purpose behind braking in an engine is meant to heat cycle the cylinder walls, rings, and bearings, BRP requires that operators regularly alternate the throttle every 30 to 45 seconds for these few hours. This may sound tedious, but it's pretty easy. Simply alternate your speed by 10 to 15 miles per hour at a time. And yes, you are encouraged to go full throttle during this period too, although you might not be seeing any big speed numbers until you reach 5 hours. Equally, the break-in period is as much for the rider to acquaint themselves with their new watercraft as it is for the engine to properly seat its machined surfaces. A supercharged seadoo is a pretty powerful toy, and in the hands of a neophyte can become a little dangerous. So it's best that those first-time riders build up a little seat time at limited throttle before going whole hog. Prior to beginning our break-in process, we needed to fill the 18.5 gallon tank of our RXP-X with 93 octane. We also poured in a can of Lucas Oil engine treatment, as it is specifically formulated to treat and lubricate sensitive wear surfaces. Given that this engine hadn't been ran for any length of time, we wanted to give our 300 horsepower Sea-Doo a little extra protection. Well, I'm about 40 miles up the Cumberland River. I've only racked up about 3 hours of running time on our brand new RXP-X 300, but if you look behind me, I got a few cans of gas, and I even have one up here in front. So yeah, I'm gonna get my 5 hours today, come hell or high water. I'm getting it done. So yeah, this will be good. We'll keep plugging away and bring you along. Since we had a few hours to burn, we decided to load up the ski with as much fuel as we could carry and head up the Cumberland River. It's a nice piece of American scenery that you just don't find anywhere else. We encountered old caves that fur trappers used to occupy during the 1800s, as well as some abandoned farmhouses. It's amazing what you find on the side of the river when you take time to look around you. Reaching our halfway mark, we decided to top off the fuel tanks with the gas that we had brought with us and turn back around, getting us to our 5 hour mark. Got a little bit of a spill, but I'm keeping the engine running just so that I can refill it, get our way home. And get our 5 hours. I've already used that one. So now we're just doing the last one. All right, that's it. We've got our 5 hours. That is the halfway point for the factory recommended 10-hour break-in period. Now, why is 5 hours so important? 5 hours is important because that's when the ECU unlocks all of the boost and full throttle for the engine, for the Ace, for the 300 Ace engine. So now we're able to go full speed, we're able to get the full boost. When we grab throttle, we get up and go. Now, we haven't tested out with launch control and with speed mode and eco mode yet, because again, we need to be at 10 hours to fully unlock the ECU. So for right now, we've got another 5 hours of break-in time, but we can do it with a big smile stretched across our face as we're going 69, 70 miles an hour out here on any lake we choose to ride on. So that's really all it takes, is a little bit of patience, a lot of gas, and a whole lot of riding time, and you can unlock your ECU and get your Sea-Doo going at full speed. I'm Kevin Shaw, and you've been watching the Watercraft Journal. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, leave a comment, and definitely share it with your friends. That's going to help us grow the channel. And if you want more content like this, we got a whole lot coming at you. Every day we publish new articles entirely free to you. That's www.watercraftjournal.com. Equally, if you hit the subscribe button and ring that bell, you'll be alerted every time we upload a new video. Believe it or not, we upload new videos
every day, 6 days a week, Sunday through Friday.